playoffs time here on the weekly recess. Mitchell Lee, Tommy Grant, Brandon 2, and it's time for the playoffs. None of our teams are in it because we suck as individuals, but we're going to be here.
Yeah, because my entire identity is tied to the Panthers are going to put one.
Hey, my entire identity is tied to the Jets, so certainly everyone else's is to their team too.
I got like a Jekyll and Hyde situation going on right now, so
you shut the hell up.
I feel like I'm kind of half in the playoffs.
It's okay. It's going to be half in.
Yeah, well, that's more than I've had for 14 years. So the regular season ended on Sunday. This week, of course, is a dark week in the NFL for a lot of people. As it's Black Monday, teams firing coaches left and right. A lot of coaches were fired in season as the Jets and Saints let go of their head coach. We also had the Bears fire Matt Eberflus in season as well. The Jaguars let go of Doug Peterson today. The Patriots fired Gerard Mayo yesterday, like right after they won, and he lost them the number 1 overall pick because Joe Milton was looking filthy in Buffalo. So that pick now goes to Tennessee. One of the teams under a bunch of scrutiny for people, and there have been a lot of teams that have just seemingly had mediocrity and gone, yeah, run it back. Let's do it. Giants, let's bring everyone back. Titans, first overall pick. Callahan, let's come back. Colts, everyone continues to come back. The Dolphins GM, let's run it back. But the Jaguars bringing back Trent Baalke as GM has been maybe the most contentious thing, as everyone just hates him. But there was a Zoom interview with the owner of the Jaguars, Shad Khan, and Trent Baalke. They're doing like a Zoom end-of-year meeting with like the media. And Jags owner Shad Khan says he'll get rid of GM Trent Baalke if a head coach gives him a good reason, with Baalke on the call.
I'm telling you, man, Shad Khan doesn't like, he plays no games. That man does not care. I mean, he wild. If you don't know who Shad Khan is, he like runs AEW. Like, he's going head to head with WWE. Like, I believe he cares more about AEW than he does about the Jaguars.
Who does he? I know he has a Premier League team.
Yeah, he has a Premier League team too. He has so many different. The Cons have so many different like buckets and hands that they're in that I don't think they really care about the Jags. So he's trying to be as efficient as possible. He is trying to be as efficient as possible. If a coach gives him a good reason to fire Baalke, he will certainly pull the trigger and do it, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of funny that he would say that. It's kind of funny that he would say that in front of Baalke. If I was Baalke, I would leave. I mean, if I was Baalke, I would quit. Yeah, you're on borrowed time. I'd quit if I was Baalke, to be honest. Wouldn't Baalke get like an assistant, like a special assistant to the GM or something job? Like, if he immediately
assistant to the regional manager?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
That happens a lot in sports, and like, we don't really have.
They did it to Nathaniel Hackett.
It happens all the time. Like
they gave Nathaniel Hackett. They gave Nathaniel Hackett a headset that didn't work.
That's great.
That can't be. Was that a Diana Rossini story? Like, that can't be true. Was that?
He didn't have a job title. What does he need a headset for? His name was like offensive assistant or something. Like, that guy doesn't need a headset. What is he gonna do?
Yeah.
So, week 18 came to a close. I'll start things off, I guess, without Connor doing the postmortem on the New York Jets, even though we did that like a solid 2 months ago. Jets finished 5-12. They ended the season of the Miami Dolphins as well as their own season this weekend. 32-20 win over the Dolphins. A lot of people were complaining about, you cratered the draft stock. I mean, they went from pick 6 to pick 7. I'm not too worried about it.
Could be big, but probably won't be.
I'm not too worried about it, because at that point you're already out of quarterback range, and I mean, who knows what's going to happen, and maybe a trade takes place. Who knows? But Aaron Rodgers, 274 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think the stat sheet looked a lot better than what I saw on the field, although it was one of his better games of the season. I just want a quarterback that's going to look at Garrett Wilson with Devontae Adams on the field, because once Devontae Adams got there, it's like Garrett Wilson just became invisible, and Garrett Wilson, I think, is one of the most talented receivers in the National Football League, and I'm going to be pissed off if he asks for a trade, gets a trade, and is like the best receiver in the league somewhere else, because I truly think he has that potential.
Speaking of asking for a trade.
Speaking of asking for a trade. We talking about the NBA today?
No, we'll get there. We'll get there. And now it just comes down to the GM and coach search. I think the name that a lot of Jets fans have really wanted is Brian Flores. That's one. But Aaron Glenn seems to be the one that I think me and other Jets fans think is going to be the guy. We think Aaron Glenn is going to be the head coach of the New York Jets, and that's the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, who absolutely flexed on Sam Darnold in the nation last night with that performance, with a lot of backups in that game, because the Lions defense has been torn to shreds by injuries, and they made Sam Darnold look like he did when he was wearing our uniforms, Brandon, when he was a Jet or a Panther. He looked very similar.
It didn't look good last night
to what we saw. So I would love to see that as him as a head coach. I'd love to see an offensive guy like Liam Cohen from the Buccaneers be the head coach of the Jets.
Yeah, I noticed how you didn't mention Ben Johnson, because I really don't think that guy's going to leave for any job, basically, unless it's like
I don't think I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I tend to just, and he's turned down so many jobs that I don't know if he's ever going to take a job.
Yeah.
It's like the only job that he would take is if Andy Reid was to retire, or if like the Eagles fired Sirianni, he would take that job.
Like, does he want to go to Vegas if like they get a quarterback? Like, I mean,
I think Vegas is holding on to Antonio Pierce.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's a job that he like really wants, because he's kind of already turned down the Giants once. He's kind of already turned down multiple jobs already.
He's basically said he doesn't want to work with Ryan Poles if he's still the GM of the Bears. It looks like they're keeping him, so maybe they lose out on Poles as a result, or Ben Johnson as a result. So the number one head coaching candidate for the past 2 or 3 cycles, maybe, I mean, Jacksonville could be one.
Yeah,
but
Jacksonville's one
that could be the one that Shad Khan goes, hey, I gotta fire you, Balky. Gave me a reason.
The whole Ben Johnson thing with like Trevor is, I do see a world where Trevor Lawrence like kind of does what Jared Goff is doing in Detroit, and like they can make it work. But that's really the only job I can see him doing. I do like the Glenn shout out though with the Jets, but I will caution fans in being like, oh, this is the right pick, this is the correct pick. Because I know many people who thought Dave Canales was not a good hire for Carolina, and so far that seems like a pretty good hire after a couple of really bad ones from Tepper. So yeah, I would just caution maybe fans or just people in general being like, well, this hire is good and this hire isn't. Like, we really don't know until guys get put into situations. But I will say it is hard to like bring an offensive guy in and be like, all right, you call the plays, but also groom this young quarterback while also dealing with all the other head coach responsibilities. So I do think that's kind of difficult to put someone under. And you do need good assistants around you, which is a huge thing in terms of hiring the staff. So we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, I mean, it seems like you're kind of optimistic about the Jets, Mitchell, but not really. It just depends.
I'm optimistic. Did you know why I'm optimistic about them, Brandon?
Because the season's over and a new season.
Because I don't have to watch them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to be 100% honest.
Let's get down to the brass tacks of it.
This moment hits me every year, every single year. And it hit me especially hard this year. I'm sitting on the couch, and it's just gone final. Jets 32, Dolphins 20. And I'm sitting on the couch like, the season's over. I haven't given a damn about Jets football in about a month and a half now. And now I care a little bit. Now I care a little bit more, but it's another year. 14 years in a row. Another year. And this year, out of my entire rooting for the Jets fandom was the year that I had expectations the highest, and they finished 5-12. And in week 18,
I remember week 1 Mitchell of this season.
I remember week 1 Mitchell. You remember what I said to week 1 Mitchell, Tommy? The train might come off the rails at some point. Let's just
you didn't expect
be
this.
Ready for it. I didn't expect it. I also fully agree with you that like skill position wise, some of the defensive players they had, some of the offensive line problems they seem to have fixed. I thought it was like a top 5 roster.
Fashanu. Yeah.
I mean, I really did. I thought it was.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say, if by some godforsaken miracle Woody Johnson is listening to this, 1, please sell the team. But 2, if you're not gonna sell the team, just figure it the hell out, please. I'm 30. You know, I don't know how long I'm gonna live. Hopefully, I live a long life, but I would really like to watch the Jets win.
Dark.
I would like to watch the Jets win 1 Super Bowl before I die.
Is that still your
just one? I don't need a dynasty. Honestly, I'm not sure I want a dynasty. Just one. Just give me one. You can go 0-18. Yeah, 0-18. Yeah, play an extra game and lose the bye week. I don't give a damn. Just give me one. Just give me one Lombardi in my lifetime. That's all I want.
I'm not trying to poke fun of this. Is that still your Twitter bio? I mean, you got rid of Twitter, but is that still your bio?
No, I still have my Twitter. This was the year I had to stop that.
You had to move it. Okay. The Jets will win a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
No. This was the year. This is the year where sometimes I'll say things and I'll be sarcastic, and my fiance will say something like, "Where has your whimsy gone?" Right. And all I have to do is just like look at the Jets win-loss record for the last 14 years.
Fair enough.
And all of my like excitement and joy and optimism, and like it's just cratered and gone. But one thing the New York Jets can say is that they have won a playoff game. They actually won 5 playoff games in the last 20 years. So let's talk about someone who hasn't won a playoff game in the last 20 years. Tommy Grant, Miami Dolphins. Season comes to an end unceremoniously in MetLife Stadium last night.
You're trying to hurt me, Mitchell, and it's not going to work.
I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to have a nice transition.
It's just facts. It's
just facts.
It's just facts. Hey, I'll do the same thing when we go to Brandon. You know?
Whoa. We played the Super Bowl. Calm down.
But you didn't win it, and I think that's even like playing the Super Bowl and losing it.
No, I'd rather play in the Super Bowl. I'd rather play in the. No,
I get that. I get that, but like,
than win them personally.
You'd rather play in 2 Super Bowls and go 0-2 than win one?
Not win one. And obviously,
okay,
you want to win one. I'm saying I'd rather play in a Super Bowl in my lifetime is what I'm getting at.
No, I get that.
But all right, yeah, Tommy,
Dolphins.
Yeah,
my running theory for this game is they started off the first quarter saying we need to win this game, and somebody was watching the Chiefs just absolutely give up the game, and they said, "You know what? Let's pump the brakes. We're not getting there." And then But then you get to fourth quarter, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we are really far behind in this game. We can't let this be a complete washout. Let's put some effort back into the game." And I will admit, watching the game, the New York Jets defense did look really fucking good. They were on fire. I think they were fighting a good fight. Granted, it did nothing for their season, but I thought it was a really fun game to watch.
I can agree with you on that. And yeah, I do think that just
and we also have
Denver pour it on Kansas City just deflates your team. There's no way it doesn't. I mean,
do you think someone has an iPad on the sideline and they're just like,
people know.
It's 8. Let's go for 8 and 9. Like, let's go for the 13th pick, basically.
I'm pretty
it's exactly like at the beginning of the Panthers Falcons overtime, like when they're doing the coin toss, the Buccaneers won.
Right.
And so every Falcons player is almost just like 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
at some point you just get so deflated
through it
that it's hard to really just get hype for anything.
Now, here's a question for you, Mitchell, because I've been hearing a lot of this. Do you think that the Chiefs threw the game because they were fearful of the Bengals making the playoffs?
No,
I just think they got outclassed.
No. I think that they did. I think they did the exact same thing. They did the exact same thing that the Eagles did. They rested their starters. They did the exact same thing that the Bills did. They rested their starters. The difference is the Bills were playing the Patriots, who have a lot of young players on that team who don't have the luxury of saying, yeah, you know what? Let's tank for a better pick. Because every single one of them knows, shit, that pick is probably my replacement. So they have an opportunity to put good tape out there so that they can show that to their next team. Or do you know how many teams are going, shit, maybe we got to take a look at Joe Milton because of what he did against Buffalo?
No. That's what I'm saying. He's a trade piece now, I think.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
He's like a 4th round pick for him. If we're being
I don't know about that much, but you could get there's something out there now because of how Joe Milton played.
Also,
so you're going to get their best shot.
I want to circle this all the way back. Remember in training camp when people were like, well, Joe Milton looks as good as Drake May. Joe Milton looks really good. Like, and then he played in some preseason games, and it was like, well, I don't know if he's that good. And then he gets into this game, and he just balls out. And it's like, I don't know. Joe Milton's a conundrum.
But the Chiefs, the point is the Chiefs' backups were playing against a Broncos team that knew what had to be done.
Yeah.
And they came, and the defense was solid. This is a good Broncos. The Broncos held the Chiefs to under 20 points when it was the Chiefs starters and not Carson Wentz throwing the ball to, I'm sorry, I don't know half of these people's names. Something called Nico Remigio.
It wasn't like they were second string players. They were playing like practice squad players.
Yeah.
Like they were playing.
No, they were backup. They were backup players, but the Chiefs aren't a very deep offense.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not a deep offense. They're just not.
You thought they were playing their entire second string? Because I don't think they were. I think they were playing like their 3rd string. I thought they weren't even going like too deep.
Towards the end of the second half, it was more 3rd and 4th string guys, but it was backups in the first half, and the Broncos were playing hungry out there, and Bo Nix was just torching them like it was practice.
Yeah. By the way, that Bo Nix play, Tommy, where he like flipped the ball to Javonte Williams after that huge run, was that the moment you thought, "Fuck, dude, it's over"? like done? Yeah,
that's exactly what I thought.
Because that's what I was thinking when I was sitting there on the couch watching in the quad box. I was like, "Oh, and there goes Miami season." Like Bo Nix is on one today.
So Tommy,
yes,
what's the plan moving forward? Obviously, you just paid Tua, so you're kind of tied to him. But Tyreek Hill wants out now. You've got Teron Armstead, who's aging and often injured. Calais Campbell's probably gone. What's the plan?
Honestly, let Hill walk. He's been useless this season. He gave up on the team in the 4th quarter this past week with the Jets. McDaniel even said he literally just went to the locker room and just left the game. Like
he pulled in Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he's a drama queen. Randy, yes. Is he talented? Of course. But
the second time the Jets have done this.
But right now with Tua can't throw as good as he did last season. Last season, him and Hill were on fire. This season, Hill's been untouched. But he's got Achane and Smith who have been pulling their weight phenomenally the second half of this season. I think once you get Mossert and Waddle kind of back up healthy and up to speed again.
Yeah, I think figuring out what to do with
Waddle, we'll be in better shape. But Mossert's been just kind of this season because he's been fighting injuries all year. And Waddle's been in and out the second half with injury. So it's really been Smith and Achane pulling all the weight. And I think that's really what's hurt the Miami offense is you got 2 good players and the rest are kind of just, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for something to happen. So I say get rid of Hill, maybe pick up another running back.
I will say
Jalen Wright?
Maybe. But
this could be an identity crisis. I want to point out McDaniel, the Dolphins, how they evaluate talent, how they go after players. They want speed. They want elusiveness. They want talent to basically run away from guys. What happens in the third and fourth quarter in the cold, in late October, November, when stuff gets tough and you need like yardage inside the tackles? Do they have a player who can find that? Like that was Mostert last year. Mostert was like an in between the tackles type of runner, and they didn't have that this year. And I don't know if they have that playmaker. Period. Like that's the problem. I think it's almost an identity like issue.
Their
like
only
they don't
playmaker.
have...
Their only playmaker has really been Achane.
Right.
He's the only one who's been receiving.
And not that he can't run inside the tackles, he can't do that stuff, but he's better out on the edge. He's better out in space. Yep. Like that's who he is. So my whole question is, do they have to like quote unquote bring in some toughness in order to like be a better football team? And like, are they willing to do that? Are they willing to sacrifice speed on the edge to get a little bit more tough?
I think they could definitely use that to kind of spread the wealth more because again, they've got good players and they know how to use them. It's just they always fuck up in those instances, and it's just they rely too heavily on one player a game, and it just kind of falls to shit. Yeah. And the fact that Tua has been such a wild card the past couple seasons. But again, 2 seasons ago he was garbage. Last season he was phenomenal. He was breaking records with Hill. And then this year again, he just got injured and has been mediocre the rest of the season. So if we're stuck with Tua, find players that can play well with the backup.
Well, yeah. Well, I wasn't kidding the other week when or last week when I said Jackson Dart might be like a good pick in like the 3rd round or something like that, because that might be a type of backup quarterback you need, like a guy who's like
the only thing I can think that would really help the Dolphins is have a solid backup quarterback and maybe another running back that can support Achane.
Yeah, they definitely need like a Mostert type runner, because I still just I fully believe when they need yards in like the fourth quarter, the third quarter, when they need to pick up tough yards, they can't do it. And I'm not saying Mike McDaniel isn't a good coach, but you can't just scheme your way with a bunch of speed and hope it works. Like sometimes Tua, especially the way Tua is as a quarterback, I don't know if that's always an option. And being able to hand the ball off and pick up 5 yards is huge. And I don't know if they have that. That's the problem.
They don't.
I'm worried about them if they continue to only draft speed and only look at that type of talent. I'm actually very concerned about what they might look like even next season. But I don't even know what they could get for Tyreek Hill, to be honest with you, Mitchell. Like I don't even know what he would get in a trade value situation. Like, what's with Miami athletes asking out of teams? Can someone explain it to me? What's happening in Miami? Like, why is Butler requesting a trade, and why is Tyreek Hill now requesting a trade?
It's cursed.
It makes sense. Yeah.
All right, let's move to the Panthers now. Brandon, Bryce Young looked unbelievable at Atlanta. 5 touchdowns, 3 on the air, 2 on the ground. It's the best I've seen him look in the NFL by far. Like there's not even a
it was
little
Alabama
bit of a close.
Bryce Young is what it was.
I might venture to say it was even better than that. Yeah, he was phenomenal in that game. Brandon, how you feeling about? But the Panthers also set a record of most points allowed in a season in the history of the NFL.
Yeah,
that's not good.
So there's 2 things. I actually don't think their defense is that bad. I think they've had a lot of bad injuries to key defensive players like Shaq Thompson. When you lose a guy like Derek Brown in like the first 2 weeks of the season, like that's tough. When your best defensive player is Jadeveon Clowney at his age, like that kind of speaks to how bad it's been defensively. So they need to shore up the secondary, absolutely. I texted you during the game. I was like, Drake London might go for like 400 yards, like Julio Jones. Like I mean, they just
he tried to
could not stop the dude. I think defense is a real issue, but I mean, I'm still kind of excited for Bryce Young and maybe what they can do on the offensive side. The real question is, if you're Dan Morgan and as the GM and you're Canales, like obviously you want to help out Bryce Young, you want to get him a receiver. That's probably a second round pick, right, Mitchell? If I'm the Panthers with the eighth overall pick, I'm either looking to trade that pick away and gather more assets, or I'm looking at a defensive player. And I'm hoping a defensive player is on the board that can make an impact day one, first year, basically.
Surely there
So
will
we'll
be.
see. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some guy out there. They do have to pay Derek Brown too. Like there's a couple of like odd like contract
Oh, I
situations.
thought you guys already did that.
Oh no, I think they did. So yeah, you are right about that. But like Shaq Thompson, I'm pretty sure is like on a expiring contract. Like, do you bring him back after all the injuries? Like maybe not. There's some real question marks in terms of contracts and stuff like that. But I do think they're in a good space with the cap and whatnot. Um, and then they have interesting offensive decisions like Adam Thielen and stuff like that. Do you bring Thielen back after he was very productive for you, but like he's aging and he might not be as productive, say, a year from now or 2 years from now? Do you go after a guy like Cooper Kupp, even though he's like in the same mold as Adam Thielen or T. Higgins? Like T. Higgins is probably on the top of a lot of people's wish list. So is David Tepper are David Tepper and Dan Morgan willing to like basically pony up the most money to bring in T. Higgins? Like that's kind of the question marks you have to be asking yourself is like, does T. Higgins want to come back to like the Carolinas where he played college football and basically like you just outpay everyone for him? Because that's what they're probably gonna have to do.
Or do you draft a Tet McMillan or a Luther Burden?
Yeah,
there's guys in the draft you could take as well. All right, exactly. Enough with the loser talk. All right, we've had a lot of loser talk for a bit of this. It's wild card weekend.
I like Devin Achane. I don't think Devin Achane's a loser, but go ahead.
Hang on,
I think he is a loser because he lost more games than he won this year.
He's got one more question from the class.
For the
class, one more loser question.
Have the Vikings lost their magic, or are the Lions just that good?
Can we wait until we talk about the damn Vikings-Rams game until we have this damn discussion?
Fine.
But my answer to that question is yes. All right, so
wow, okay, that's good.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Saturday, 4:30, not 3:30, 4:30. That means the Texans are playing. Because whenever the Texans play in the wild card in their franchise history, they play the first game on Saturday. Why? Who the hell knows? But stop messing with tradition.
Ratings, Mitchell.
Sure, why not? The Texans and the Chargers. Now, the Texans have kind of, I don't want to say, backed into the playoffs.
They've turned on the signal and they beat way into the
that division, they've backed into the playoffs. And they take on the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert, who's thrown only 3 interceptions this season and is looking for his first ever playoff win. The Chargers are favored by 2.5 points in this game. And as far as I am concerned, you can put a 1 in front of that 2. And I'm still taking the Chargers because I really like the Chargers. I think that their offensive line is solid and they're going to be able to handle what the Texans do really well. And also, I just don't think that the Texans are going to be able to protect CJ Stroud in this game. I think that the Texans are going to have a lot of trouble moving the football. And yeah, as a result, I think the Chargers, yeah. Well, Nico Collins, just triple team him. You're good.
I can see this being a high scoring game on the Chargers side. I don't think the Texans.
Wow, good. I like that.
I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think this game is going to be like 20-3 type of vibe.
Yeah.
Take the under.
Really?
Which is 42.5, which is a very low number. But I just don't think the Texans are going to score in this game. Now, granted, that means now the Texans are going for 68, but I think that just from what I've seen from these two teams, Give me the Chargers, and I think comfortably so.
Yeah. Tommy, I'm kind of in agreement that I think the Chargers might score. I don't know if it's like 27-35. I don't know if it's that much, but they're gonna put points on the board. I think Justin Herbert, Mitchell. I've been saying this for years. I think he's talent wise a top 5 QB in football. Like I just think he's that good, like talent.
Been saying it since Oregon.
I think this might be his playoffs. Like I don't want to go there, but
I could see.
Give me this win. Give me this win at least. We can talk about later matchups.
Yeah, because I would not be surprised if Herbert went on like an Eli Manning type run.
That's what I'm saying.
This season, I could that defense supporting him. I can see it. Quentin Johnston coming along right now.
Ladd McConkey is like one of the best
McConkey
rookie receiver seasons we've seen in a while.
So we are all in favor for the Chargers for this.
Yeah, game. And it's not like the Texans are bad. They have.
Oh, I think the Texans are bad.
Well, they're bad at this point because of
injuries.
Yes,
their offensive line was never all that good to begin with.
No.
CJ Stroud's been massively overhyped for about a year straight now.
Sure, but I will say this, Mitchell. He's been overhyped, but I could totally see a situation where he just sometimes pulls it out of his ass and just plays.
Hey, he was great last year against the Browns in the opening round.
That's what I'm saying.
The Browns defense was shutting everyone down.
But give me the Chargers. I really think once you take away Nico Collins, I mean, you're gonna roll the safeties up in the box. You're gonna take away the run. Like I don't see the Texans scoring. So give me the Chargers.
Tomas?
I said Chargers.
Oh, he said Chargers like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
he's been on Chargers. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
As soon as you posed the question, he was like, LA.
Steelers Ravens now. This has been just a classic AFC North battle for 2 decades or so. From Big Ben against Joe Flacco to just the Harbaugh versus Tomlin era has been a lot of fun. I liked it at its best in the early 2010s.
When you had
they had a great battle in the AFC divisional round in 2010 that the Steelers won. They've had several great playoff games, but the Steelers also, you want to talk about beep, 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 backing in the playoffs. They've lost 4 straight games. And this is something that we talked about when talking about the Steelers. Is that the back half of the schedule? I mean, their last 4 games were Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, and they lost all of those games.
All playoff caliber teams.
Yep.
And Russell Wilson has looked really bad in the last month.
I think the Steelers have officially run out of steam this season.
I think they have too, to the point where it's a 10-point spread, which seems ridiculous to me. That seems steep. However, if I was to just take the names off of these teams, all right, this is Team A, this is Team B. Watch Team A play, watch Team B play. These are the stats for each two. I'd probably be picking Team A, the favored team, to cover.
Yeah.
But just I cannot bring myself to take the Ravens to cover this game. Mm-hmm. I do think, especially with Zay Flowers maybe not playing, that's something that I think could be a little bit of an equalizer, because the Steelers also, last few weeks, they've been without George Pickens. And without George Pickens, they have no damn offense. If Pickens is back for this game, which it looks like he's going, well, Pickens was back for the Bengals game.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I think George Pickens did too, because he had like 3 drops and no catches, and all he tried to do was like fight fans and shit, because that's what George Pickens does. But
he's another drama queen this season.
Lamar Jackson could be taking home an MVP pretty soon. I don't know if he has my vote, because Derrick Henry has 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Well, hold on. If we're giving to a running back, come on now.
No, I'm saying that Derrick Henry being so good has kind of dropped Lamar's value a little bit.
Lamar's value. Okay, I see what you mean. I was like, we're giving Derrick Henry the MVP over Saquon. I was like, what are we doing?
I would really consider Saquon for MVP.
Yeah.
Now, if Joe Burrow and the Bengals made the playoffs, this would be simple.
No.
They didn't.
I want people to throw records out when talking about MVP. Fuck it. Fuck records. Because it's bullshit. Joe Burrow has been the best player in football. Straight up. I'm sorry for cussing. I'm sorry for taking it to that level.
Don't you dare
I'm not your mom.
Okay. But Joe Burrow has been the best player in football. And the numbers that he's put up, he should be MVP. And it's stupid that we're having a discussion while his team didn't make the playoffs. Well, I'm sorry that he can't line up at linebacker and fucking tackle for them. Please, I'm over that shit. So if we're not going to give it to him, give it to Saquon because Saquon's been a beast. But Joe Burrow should be the MVP. And I know he won't be, and I know this is going to fall on deaf ears because – you got to win games to be the most valuable player. No, that's stupid. You can be the best player in football and the most valuable player and not win games.
He's not going to get my vote. I love how I say it as if I have a vote.
You have
just
a vote.
Because
no,
I have a mental paper ballot.
Yeah, I feel like you have a whole system at your house where you just have imaginary voting sessions and you just vote for their names.
He tallies all the votes up.
You're actually not wrong. You're not incorrect. The autism be crazy.
So he wouldn't get your vote, but
he wouldn't get my vote. But if they had made the playoffs, he would have been an easy number one. I can't give it to someone that didn't make the playoffs.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. I just don't know. The top three is obviously some version of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Saquon Barkley. I think Lamar Jackson played the best. Josh Allen this is probably going to answer the damn question, the most valuable player. Okay. But Saquon Barkley had the most impressive season.
Yeah.
And I think that there's value in all of those things.
Right. But I just think they need to take out the words MVP. Just say it's the best quarterback. Just on the most winningest team. Like, just say
but if you take Saquon off the Eagles, I don't know if that's a playoff team.
So I think at this point we should turn NFL into somewhat the Oscars, where we have the most valuable quarterback, the most valuable running back.
Right.
Obviously, the most valuable player.
Saquon's gonna win like Offensive Player of the Year, but not MVP.
Like, he's got that. Unless they go Chase, but I'd go Saquon.
That's dumb. The awards make no sense. I would say the same thing about the NBA MVP. I would say the same thing about MLB. Like tying an individual award to player record to team record is stupid. It's just dumb. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm gonna get off that.
Are you picking the Ravens to win this game?
Absolutely. The Steelers suck.
Damn.
I'm going full Ravens as well.
Mitchell,
I do think the Bengals would give them a better game than the Steelers.
I have to ask the question, do we go to Justin Fields?
I think they're kind
Justin Fields give them a better chance to win. I mean, I know it looked good at the middle of the part of the season, but the Steelers have not looked good for the last 4 weeks. And yeah, they're probably going to make me eat my words, and they're probably going to win this game. But they've looked like they haven't been a playoff team for the last.
I'll say this. No, because I think the only way that the Steelers win this game is if they get some of these Russ Moon balls to land in the perfect spot. All right. And just win with some of these big chunk plays.
And I like their defense, don't get me wrong, but their defense hasn't looked good the last 5 weeks either. Like, I mean, they really haven't.
Yeah.
I mean,
and honestly, this was the game I would really love to enjoy watching because, like Mitchell said, going back in history, like the Steelers-Ravens games used to be like the fun, just beat the shit out of each other games.
Everyone
would get like broken noses and
I think it's funny
games to watch. And it's like I would love to see that on Saturday, but I know it's not going to happen.
I think it's hilarious that other sports avoid division matchups in like the first round. They're like, "Oh, we can't do division matchups. Like, we need to like avoid them." And the NFL is like, "Nah, give me Steelers Ravens.
Let the chips fall where they may." I'm fine with that.
With how serious Mike Tomlin gets about this stuff, I can see him be like, this is the
Mike
game.
Tomlin,
you gotta put your fucking hearts out and play." Like, you got to show up tonight.
I say,
so you taking the Steelers?
I'm taking Ravens, but I would love to see a Steelers victory.
Okay, I will say this, Mitchell, because Tommy brings up a great point. I say all of that about the Steelers to say Mike Tomlin is still their head coach. That man has never had a losing season in his entire NFL career. I wouldn't be surprised if he just somehow like gets them to rally around and be like, well, no one's picking us, so let's go and win this fucking game. Like, it's one of our division rivals. Like, let's go beat them in. Like, I could totally see that being a scenario. Am I picking it? No. Do I think the Ravens are going to win by 17? Absolutely. But it's Mike Tomlin.
Well, I have my my work holiday party that Saturday, so these are the two games that I'm going to miss, and these are the two games that I would most like to not watch, honestly.
Wow.
So, because I think the better games are these four, starting with Broncos, Bills.
It's called record it and then watch it later. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that either. Man.
Broncos, Bills, 1:00 in Orchard Park, not Buffalo, Orchard Park. I think if there's an AFC game that does not go chalk, it would be this game. I think that the Broncos have the best shot of any of the underdogs to win because of their defense. That agree. Being said, I still like the Bills to win and the Bills to cover at 9. I really think that these AFC games are going to go exactly how everyone thinks they're going, at least the people that don't expect the Texans to miraculously cling to life. The Broncos have been on a great run. Their defense has been fantastic, and I could see it happening, right? I definitely could see the Broncos winning this game more so than I can the Steelers or the Texans. I see the path, and the path is the Broncos just they just lock Josh Allen in a box and have him floating at the bottom of a river somewhere. And I don't mean that like literally. I mean that like in the game, they just shut him down and limit his and say, hey, if you're going to win this game, you're going to win it on your first reads. You're not going to move around and do a bunch of stuff. We're certainly not letting you scramble.
Yeah, I really want to
make them beat you that way.
I really want to make that meme now. The path has followed before me. Lisa Algaim. Bo Nix will take me to the promised land.
I don't know about the promised land, but like it could happen.
Yeah. Mitchell, you said it earlier. I went on my whole MVP rant. Josh Allen is the most valuable player in football. I said all of that to just basically say that Josh Allen is the most valuable player. So, yeah, Josh Allen's too important. He does too many awesome things on the football field.
Does Denver have experience with playing in the cold? Are they high altitude or
they play in Denver?
Was that a joke?
Was that sarcastic?
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
Did this dumb motherfucker really just ask if Denver had experience playing in the cold?
I've never been to Denver. Thank you.
Where do you think Denver's located?
To answer your question,
I'm assuming mountains. So I'm assuming it's cold. I don't know.
To answer your question, the Denver Broncos are very, very familiar with cold weather, and Denver is also one of the highest cities in altitude in the entire U.S. So to answer your question seriously. Yes, the Denver Broncos are prepared to play this game.
I was asking that because I was going to say with how fucking cold it's been here this week and how cold it's going to fucking be on Sunday, the Bills' typical cold advantage is lost to them.
No. That's where you're wrong.
This isn't Tua coming to town.
Lisa Algaim, Bo Nix can't throw the ball through the wind the way Josh Allen can.
That is true. That is true. He does not have the fastball that Josh Allen. I love Bo Nix. He's had a great season.
He's awesome.
Okay?
Awesome.
Quack, motherfuckers. I love my Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, great.
But, just not the ones in the secondary guarding Jeremiah Smith last week. But I'm a big fan of Bo Nix. He cannot cut through that wind the way that Josh Allen can.
No one
However, the Broncos' defense is absolutely built for the playoffs, and I think could hold the Bills to 20 or so points. The question is if the Broncos can score more than that. If that's the type of game it's going to be, are the Broncos, and unfortunately, fortunately for the Bills, they had a game just like this against the Broncos last year and lost it on Monday Night Football because, and this is the part that's really going to butter your biscuit, Tommy. Tyler Bass is still your kicker.
Yikes.
I don't
and
like
that could be a problem come playoff time.
Don't talk about Bass Pro Shop like that. Come
on. Don't talk about Bass. I'm not a fan of his.
I'm being critical of him.
I'm still bitter about the whole 60 fucking yard kick against the Dolphins early on the season.
That was clutch. I'm still
bitter about that.
The one he makes. I will say, Mitchell, are we back in on Javonte Williams? Because this is going to have to be like a Javonte runs over some dudes type of game.
No.
Okay. I didn't think we were back in either. So just thought I would ask
it's gonna it's gonna be Estimé.
Okay.
That's the type of day that it's going to be for the Broncos. It's going to be Audric Estimé maybe going on a Sean Green-esque run in the playoffs, but I don't think it'll be enough. Give me the Bills, and the Bills to cover, but I think that's a backdoor cover for the Bills. I think it's one of those, like, they're up 3, Josh Allen some deep pass to put them up 10.
At least we educated the people that Denver is, in fact, at high altitude.
Fuck all of you.
All right. Hey, we've got a duo of week 1 rematches. A lot of things changed from week 1 to week 1 of the playoffs, in case you folks out there don't know this. But the Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles played in the second game of the year. That was down in Brazil. This time they play in Philadelphia, and the Eagles are favored by 4 points in this one. Packers just lost to the Bears. The Eagles have been kind of coasting the last few weeks. Jalen Hurts has been in the concussion protocol, but it has not impacted their playoff standing whatsoever, as they beat the Cowboys by 34 points, and they beat the Giants as well, whether it's Kenny Pickett, whether it's Tanner McKee, both of whom looked really good when they played, especially Kenny Pickett somehow. Eagles play the Packers. Jair Alexander not playing, so I think this is going to be an A.J. Brown-a-thon. I really think it is.
You say that. Let me preface this by saying, Mitchell, that Denver is called the Mile High City because it's 5,280 feet above sea level at elevation.
That enough altitude for you?
Saquon is about to run.
I know that was the city's nickname. I would not have asked.
I'm just trying to educate more people. It's called the Mile High City. Now, I say all that to say Saquon's about to run for a mile in this game because this man is about to run for 250 yards. Like, it's about to be a Saquon type game.
Oh, damn.
I like the Packers. I think Jordan Love. I still question if they have a number 1 receiver. I don't think they do.
Is Toyota-thon still on?
It's Toyota-thon. They're built more tough. Like, it's the December to remember. Like, I mean, we already passed that. But Saquon's about to run for 250 yards.
Whatever the hell Mazda's got going on.
He's about to run for a mile. Like, if we put a tracker on him, I think he's gonna go a mile.
He had 3 touchdowns in their first game in Brazil. That's the most touchdowns he's had in a game this season. The first half of that game, they kind of contained him really well. And then the second half, Saquon just ripped his shirt off and just went
That's what Saquon has done all season. He just wears teams down. The offensive line leans on you. They run that heavy zone, running scheme. They lean on you, and then Saquon breaks some big runs.
Can you say lean on you one more time?
Lean on me when you're not up the middle. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to tie that all back together. Saquon's about to run for a lot of yards.
But do you think
I will say A.J. Brown plays well. Oh, yeah. I mean, if I'm picking Saquon to run for 250 yards, you think I'm picking the Packers to win the game?
Hey, man, I don't know. You might have something up your sleeve for me. I don't know.
No. I will say I like the Packers. I think it's criminal that they were in the NFC North. I think it's absolutely criminal that they're the 7th seed. But give me the Eagles. I actually think the Eagles. I'll save my predictions for future games.
They're a good football team. I'm just kind of high on the Eagles, and I'll say this: I think
also
the Eagles win and
Jalen Hurts
cover.
is healthy. Jalen Hurts is healthy, right? Like 100% back.
He should be good to go. I think the Packers win and cover, or the Eagles win and cover. Unlike the other games, I could definitely see the Packers winning this game.
No, that's fair.
That is something that is definitely on the table. As we go further along, I feel like each game gets more and more likely that what I think is going to happen won't happen. And this game in particular, like Jordan Love does what he did last year against the Cowboys, and the Packers are going to be another 7 seed that goes into the house of a 2 seed NFC East team and wins. It definitely could happen. But I think the Eagles have too good of a running game. That Cowboys team had no running game.
Yep.
The Eagles have too much of a running game that they won't get behind like that. So definitely give me Philadelphia here. Tommy?
I'm definitely going Philly. I think it might be a close game, but I think it's going to be the Packers simply trying to keep up in points with Saquon. This is going to be the game that Saquon gets fully unleashed, and he's going to go all out.
Yeah, so, fair.
All right.
Also, I'll give you quick stats, Mitchell. For my company, Sports Info Solutions, percentage of plays that the Eagles run inside zone, 23%. The percentage of plays they run outside zone, 11%. So I like the Eagles to run all over them with zone run scheme.
Now let's get to the game I'm looking forward to the most, weirdly enough. Sunday night, Washington at Tampa Bay. I cannot wait for this game. This is the game
you're looking forward to?
This is the game I'm looking forward to the most. Okay. Green Bay, Philadelphia is definitely up there as well. But this is the one where I'm like, I feel like this might have the most entertainment value. This Washington Commanders versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. They played week.
I think
they played week 1.
Matched.
Maybe. They played week 1, and this was a game that no one was paying any attention to week 1. I remember I had all of my TVs set up week 1. I was so excited, and I had that on like TV 4, right? I kind of was like, I'll glance at Commanders Buccaneers from time to time, and it felt like every time I did, Jaden Daniels was running the ball, and they were down by like 30. But the Commanders have come a long way, and Jaden Daniels has put together one of the most impressive rookie quarterback seasons that this face and these eyes have ever seen. Tampa, Baker Mayfield threw for 41 touchdowns this season. 1,100 rushing yards for Bucky Irving. They kind of, backdoored their way into Mike Evans getting 1,000 yards, which doesn't impress me at all. But we get the Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans matchup. Week 1 of the playoffs. I can't wait for that. I really think that Jaden Daniels just finds a way. These are 2 gamer quarterbacks right here in very different ways. Jaden Daniels is a gamer just like Baker Mayfield is. He just isn't all brash about it the same way that Baker is. They're very entertaining for different ways, but you watch them and it's like Jaden Daniels just finds yards in places they shouldn't be in the same way that Baker was against the Saints.
Mitchell, I know what you've been doing lately. You've been watching that TikTok or that reel that's been going around where it's Baker's Oklahoma highlights over brain stew by whatever song that's the song it's called. But basically it's just Baker highlights. It's just Baker, MFing people, like planting the flag in the middle of the field, like okay, so you haven't been watching that. I watch that on loop at least once a week.
Do you not know who sings Brain Stew?
I do. I just absolutely blanked who does. But you can go ahead and tell the world.
What's this TikTok you speak of?
Green Day, motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's Green Day. That's terrible. I mean, I do like that song too.
Yeah. You don't know where Denver is. You don't know where Green Day is.
No, I know what Green Day is. Calm down. Have you seen my Spotify rap? No, just
no, kidding. I haven't.
But no, my whole point is, Mitchell, is yes, Baker is brash. He's confident. He's in your face. Jaden Daniels is going to find a way to win this football game.
We agree.
I'm with you, Mitchell. I'm with you.
All right.
I just think he's going to run for a first down.
Because this is the highest over-under
it has
the highest total.
Mitchell.
50.5. I think first to 30 wins.
Defenses are not. Both of these defenses are not particularly good. And there's a little bit of a toughness about like the way Washington plays. I think it's their left tackle who's just like nasty. Like it's just. I mean, there's some like nastiness when it comes to the way the Commanders play football. Yeah, I just. Something feels right about picking Jaden Daniels in a situation where this game is going to come down to like one score. I do agree with you. I think the over is a good call, and I think it's going to come down to like one score, one play by Jaden to like kind of get a field goal or something like that. I see that being the
and the emergence of Zach Ertz has been really big for Washington's offense as well, because he was kind of just like Zach Ertz will start the season and then Ben Sinnott will end the season. And I think Ben Sinnott's somewhere in, Cabo with the teams that didn't make the playoffs. He hasn't really been too active this year. Meanwhile, Zach Ertz is scoring touchdowns left and right. Tommy, what do you think?
Honestly, these are two teams I followed probably the least this season and care about the least, even going into playoffs. I think I would have to go with the Commanders because I would love to see a rookie quarterback bring it to the playoffs and do well in the playoffs. That definitely set up a good career for him
because it's not Bo Nix, right? Yeah. Is that what we're telling ourselves? It's not Bo Nix, so it has to be Jay Daniels.
Like they're not a team I want to see in the Super Bowl. Like I'm pretty firm. I would like to see a Bills Lions Super Bowl. I think that'd be a really fun Super Bowl to see. But
yeah, fair.
I would love to see Jaden Daniels in the rest of his career with probably, I'm assuming, the Commanders, assuming he'll be staying there for a little while. So yeah, I want to see him do good in the playoffs. But I'm going Commanders.
All right, Monday night.
I did want to mention real quick, Mitchell. The tackle I was thinking of was the right tackle, Andrew Wiley. That dude plays with some like edge to him. So I think they're about to run the ball really well too. Give me Commanders.
So we're all for the Commanders this weekend.
Yes. Commanders. Give me the C words.
All right, Vikings Rams Monday Night Football. This is one that has caused me to go back and forth.
Yeah, this is the toughest game, right?
Yeah.
Just to pick.
No. Because this is one where because this is one the Vikings are favored by 1.5. This is the closest line of the week. But this is one where it's almost like the it's like the forbidden fruit type thing.
Destiny.
Or just something.
Fate?
No. It's something where it's like I know what the right decision is, but something is getting in my way. Everything I've seen this year, everything I look at this season, everything is saying, dummy, Vikings win this game by multiple possessions. The Rams offense hasn't been able to really get going the last few weeks. The Rams corners cannot hang with Jefferson and Addison, and it's not going to go well. The Vikings are going to win this game. They're going to throw tons of pressure at Stafford, and the Vikings are going to end this before the fourth quarter. I also watched the Vikings play football last night. I watched Sam Darnold play football last night. Mm-hmm. And if that's the Sam Darnold that we get, then the Rams are going to win this game, and they're going to win it by double digits. But again, I am choosing.
That brings up my question from earlier. Is it the Vikings lost their magic, or were the Lions defense just that fucking good?
I
don't want to be boring.
Think that it was Sam Darnold having one of those seeing ghost moments.
Okay. Wow, that's strong. Whoa. See, I was going to say it's a gray area. Like it's somewhere in the middle.
No, he was shook. He was shook. The moment was too big for him, and that worries me.
Yeah, fair. I did bring up something earlier, like last week, where I had the theory about McVay and, playoffs. I think he schemes up 2 touchdowns. He schemes up 14 points. So what are the Vikings going to do outside of that? Because I think the Rams score. I'm not worried about the Rams putting up 28. I'm worried about the Vikings scoring 28. I'm like Mitchell. The snake is in the garden, and he's whispering evil things to me right now. And I'm thinking about taking a bite of the apple. It's tough, Mitchell. It really is.
I didn't
tough.
tell you where I was going.
Oh gosh. Oh, go. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. I don't want to.
I'm still picking Minnesota to win and cover.
Mitchell,
I think that Darnold, the version of Darnold that we saw, is not good enough to win this game. But I think we get something in the middle, right?
Fair.
We don't get elite Darnold that we got all season this year. We get passable Darnold. And I think that passable Darnold will be enough to win this game closely, because I do think that enough big plays they have no answer for Justin Jefferson in this game. They have nothing. There's nothing the Rams can throw at the Vikings to slow down Justin Jefferson.
So you think this is going to be like a 21-28 type score?
I think it's going to be, yeah. I think that sounds about right. That sounds correct to me. Last time they played, he had 8 catches for 115 yards. They were also playing on Thursday Night Football. Teams tend to run a little bit more on Thursday Night Football than most other nights.
Simplify the playbook.
Exactly, yeah. I think this is a game. Jefferson hasn't gotten more than 14 targets in a game this year. I think he gets 17 at least in this game, and he goes off.
Do you know how many targets that is?
175. Okay. 175 yards, multiple touchdowns.
That's bold.
Big Jefferson game. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah. So I agree with everything you said. I think Jefferson balls out. I think this is a shootout. Like I truly think McVay's going to scheme up 2 touchdowns. I still like Kyron as a running back. I said it last week. I still like their receivers. I mean, I know they haven't really moved the football, but it's the Rams. You can't convince me that playoff time comes around, the Rams aren't going to move the football. So give me the Rams in a close one. But I'm thinking, Tommy, like 34-31. You know, something high score.
The flow, man. You've ruined the flow.
Don't say Vikings.
I was gonna say, like, this was like the first week where all of us have had the exact same picks for every single fucking game, and you had to ruin it with the Rams. But I'm going Vikings.
Fair enough. I feel bad for doing that. Should I switch my pick now? I feel terrible for ruining it.
It's already in place. It's already
in.
All right, so now let's make our official picks for the playoffs. All right, so try to remember how it's all going to work. I'll help you out if not.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. So Brandon, let's start with you. Give us your playoff predictions.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs over Chargers and Bills over Ravens. Close one. Give me Lions over Commanders, Eagles over Lions, and I'll stop right there. I'm sorry, Eagles over Rams.
Vikings.
Eagles over Rams. Because I'm.
Oh, you took the Rams.
Yeah, did you miss that? He zoned out, Tommy.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about all the yards Jefferson was going to put up.
He was making bets on the side. It was like 175 yards.
Jefferson 250 yards plus.
You special boy.
So yeah, Eagles over Rams. I'll stop there though.
That's make the whole thing. Whole thing.
Well, I kind of screwed up because I jumped ahead. Give me Eagles over Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And give me Chiefs over Bills. That would make it a Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl, which I would not love because it'd be a rematch. Yeah. And I'd hate myself for it. But I think that's what's going to happen. And then give me Chiefs in New Orleans on February 9th. I don't love it. I've said all year that I thought the Chiefs were not particularly good, but they just keep finding ways to win games. And I think that's what's going to happen in this playoffs. I think we're going to be reminded that, yeah, Patrick Mahomes didn't even make a Pro Bowl. He didn't look good. I don't give a fuck. The dude
finds a way to turn it on when he needs to.
Yeah, when he finds a way to turn it on when he needs to. I also think this might be a Travis Kelce retires after catching 2 touchdowns or something like that. Very, very possible.
All right, Tommy.
All right, run me through game by game because I'm stupid and don't remember how all this shit works.
All right. So, it's going to be Chiefs versus Chargers.
I'll take Chiefs.
All right, then you got Bills Ravens.
You can say it.
I'm gonna have to go Bills.
Yes,
I want.
All right, so then AFC Championship game, Chiefs Bills.
Give me the fucking Bills. Fuck the Chiefs.
All right.
I mean, that was a heart pick for sure. That was definitely.
You got the Bills. Okay, so you picked the Eagles, Commanders, and Vikings in the NFC wildcard, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you've got Commanders, Lions.
Gonna go. I wanted the end game. I think it's going to be the Bills Lions in the Super Bowl.
Well, hold on. Okay, so it's Commanders Lions, Eagles Vikings.
I'm going to go Eagles.
Okay, so then you think Lions beat the Eagles. So it's Bills Lions Super Bowl. Who wins?
I think the Lions will win that one, but I'm going to say Bills because I would like the Bills to win.
You can't do this both sides, crap.
No. Because then you'd be picking Detroit to win their first Super Bowl.
My heart is with Buffalo at this moment, so I'm going to go Buffalo.
Okay, so you're picking Buffalo. Okay, so I've got Chiefs Chargers. I'm taking the Chiefs, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers sprung the trap.
Mitchell, I say all of that with the Chiefs as my Super Bowl champions to be like the Chargers can be playing in a Super Bowl. Like that's how I truly believe. Yeah, I'm with you. The trap might be sprung.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens to get the win in Buffalo over the Bills.
Oh no, Mitchell.
And I'll take the Ravens to get it done in Kansas City.
So Lamar redemption.
Okay. Okay. Then Commanders Lions, I've got the Lions winning that one. Eagles Vikings, I've got the Eagles winning that one. Give me the Eagles over the Lions. So we get a Ravens Eagles Super Bowl. King Henry versus Saquon in the year of the running back.
Okay. Hey, I would not complain with that Super Bowl matchup either.
Oh no, that Super Bowl would be awesome.
And I think fly, Eagles, fly. Ooh. On the road to victory. I don't know the rest of the song, but I'm riding with Philly. The main EAGLES Eagles.
Oh my gosh, I can't take it. I can't take it if the Eagles win another Super Bowl. I really can't.
They're gonna be eating all sorts of weird stuff off the street.
I'm just really happy that I'm able to record all these conversations now because next season I'm just gonna have Mitchell singing the Eagles song every week.
Let's do it. Yeah,
every week, Jailers. EAGL.
I don't think the Jets play the Eagles next year, so that's fine.
Man, I hope I'm wrong. Like, part of me doesn't want the Chiefs to win, but
all of me doesn't want the Chiefs to win.
I can't do it. I can't pick against them. I'm going to be logical and smart. I'm going to.
Hey, you know what? It's better than Week 1, Mitchell, where Mitchell had in our Week 1 predictions had the Jets winning this one.
Man, wouldn't it be nice if I was sitting here instead of singing the damn Eagles song, I was doing the Jets chant and like, yeah, guys, I really think we can bring this home.
And Fireman Ed was just screaming along with you.
The only thing we're going to be bringing home is Mason Graham or Tet McMillan. Yeah, that's it. But I just can't see. I think that Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, one of them is going to be in the Super Bowl. I just cannot see them both getting blanked. I can't see it. And I will say this. If the Lions were at full strength defensively, I would be picking them to win the Super Bowl hands down. Hands down. I really think that the Lions had a great thing going, but they just lost too many bodies. And I think that Saquon is just going to run right through them. A.J. Brown, give me the Eagles. That was their missing piece. When they didn't win the Super Bowl a couple years ago, they didn't have Saquon Barkley. Now they do. Give me the Eagles. I think they get the redemption. They win the Super Bowl, and Lamar Jackson, he finally gets past Patrick Mahomes, but you run into a beast with Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and frankly, Jalen Hurts as well. So I've got the Eagles over the Ravens. Tommy, you've got the Bills over the Lions. And Brandon, you've got the Chiefs over the Eagles. It's going to be a fun NFL playoff season to see whose dreams come true. Clearly not mine, because I'm a Jets fan and my life's been nothing but a fucking nightmare ever since the day I was born. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again after the Wildcard Round is done.
Good